Hi everyone, Grandpa Bobby here. I'm here with the final build of the home project, and that home project is making a small 31-inch by 25-inch barn door that's made from 2x8 Western cedar. And the reason why we did this, and you're going to see more later in the video, is that there's a kitchen counter over here in this whole area my wife could never get to for years, and I've been promising her to do this, and now I've finally done it. So what did we do? Created a barn door that would slide over. In this whole area we put a new 2-tier wire basket made by REV-A-SHELF, and this now gives her all her seasonal, and it has automatic close, so this allows her to store all her stuff, and she can go all the way out, and you can see back in there it was real hard to get to. So now let's walk around the other side, close the barn door, and at the same time you'll see right here there's a tie wrap, and a nice guy on YouTube told me about that, and it just jumps over it, and I thought that was a great way to keep this from rolling over to the right. Now, as we walk around in the kitchen, here's the area that we had to access this area. In these cabinets, this is the area back here of about 27 inches, and it was very hard for her to reach back there. So, as we here, this gives her now, I put in, again, 2-tier by REV-A-SHELF, and this gives her all her nice storage, and again, soft start. Close. So that concludes this build. If you stay tuned on the last part of this video, I'm going to give you the details how I put everything together. So for some of you that just want to see what did I do, I like it, and if you want to go further, please watch a little bit later in the video, and thank you. I want to show you before we get started. This is the cabinet cleared out, and you can see that we have a top shelf that runs along the top, but you can see how hard it is back here. Oh! You can see why my wife had a hard time getting things back there. So what we plan to do is cut out an opening over there about 22 inches, and then we're going to have a barn door on the other side. This will be gone, and we'll have again our 2-tier shelves here and a nice 2-tier shelf there that will go out that way. So that tier shelf will probably start about here and go all the way about 2 inches from the end. So we'll be able to utilize all this spacing very easily over here, but from the other direction. And let's get started. All right, for this project, we're gonna need some various DeWalt tools. Yes, I'm like DeWalt. We're gonna need our impact wrench, drill. We're gonna need an oscillating tool. I might need this guy right here if I get some nails from the shelf you have to take out. And of course, we're either going to use the jigsaw with a special laminate blade, or I'm going to attempt to use a router. I have not made that decision yet until we get into it more. And oh, I have a new tool that I got for Christmas. Something I've asked Santa Claus for. Now, to remove the shelf on the top, I'm going to use something I got a long time ago. I don't even know how to pronounce it. So XKONE, you can look it up. And it's these jacks. You can see it advertised on TV about lifting up refrigerators and washing machines. Well, let's now go ahead and see what happens when we take these 2 jacks, and this board is only held in by these little brad nails all along the back side when they made the cabinet. So what we're going to do is slowly go up, and we're going to force to break. Okay, we have it broke loose. Now let me get this out of here and we'll go to the next step. Now, these are the staples that were put in years ago for the shelf, and you can see in the back, and all I've been doing is just taking a pair of cutters and just wiggle back and forth, and then I take my trusty dusty take off just the sharpness of it. And then you can also come over here, and that's how we take care of that. And we'll go to the next step. Here's where I laid out the area to be cut out with the jigsaw and the router. And what's coming next is testing which would be better, the router or the jigsaw blade and the forester bit. They all turned out to be great. So now I went ahead and moved into the fact that I'll just use the router on the bottom where I could use a straight edge along the floor. And then I was able to use the jigsaw around the other areas. And then I, of course, used the forester bit to put a nice clean hole by where I need to put my laminate blade. Now I move over to where we've cut out the opening and it's nice and clean, and now we're ready to add the REV-A-SHELF. Okay, it's the next day and I went ahead and cut out the opening that we were talking about cutting out. I had a choice between the router or a jigsaw, and the router would be better down here, so I set up a straight edge. And the reason why, this Formica was never really glued down real well, and it's only a small strip, so the router took care of that. And the jigsaw did a great job here with a laminate blade. And what this tool does from DeWalt, this just lets me put that, and where I couldn't get close to the line down here, I'll be able to finish this up here and clean it up. Good morning. It's Grandpa Bobby here. We're here on another day working on the barn doors for my wife's kitchen cabinet. And then after we get the wood finished cutting, we'll be using the correct fastening system to put that together. We need to cut one more piece of board, and let's go do that right now. Okay, now we're at the chop saw. We're going to be cutting this 2x8 Western green cedar. Got it from Home Depot, about 70 bucks for the two 8-foot boards, and not too bad. Remember, this Western cedar, if it's 2x8, it doesn't mean it's 2x8. It's 1 3/4 by 7 3/4. So remember that when you're doing your measurements. So let's go ahead and make our final cut. And yes, I need to go get my safety glasses. Okay, we got a pair of safety glasses on, and outside's not that noisy. All right, let's go put it together. Now we're at the next level. I have all 4 boards lined up, and what I'm planning on doing, now this will be the outside that you would see. I put all the bad boards to the back, and we plan to screw from the back. But first, I want to lay them out the way I want them. I'm going to strategically put 6 of these Craig fastening screws to be able to attach this board to that board, and then I'll do the same thing and on some. So let me show you how simple the Craig system works, and then we'll start putting it together. I have now marked all my boards with indication marks where I want to line up with this just B configuration here for this slot here. They have 3 for you, and I've already fastened it in the back, tied it down here. The only thing I don't have is a dust collector on here, so we're going to make a little bit of mess. But let's go ahead and do this. That completes one board, and now let's go ahead and finish the rest. Now I'm going to go ahead and drive in 7 of these screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And these are 2 1/4. I wish I had 2 1/2, but this is all I have, and it works fine. So all we have to do with the system here is just put our driver. There you go. And all I have to do is do this all the way down the line. And let's see what we got. Sometimes you have to make sure you get it in the slot and make sure you do it real good. And also probably doesn't hurt if you're at an angle. Like right now, that won't work. So we're going to, since this is holding it in, I'm going to rely on that this screw is already clamped this tight. And don't worry, in the very top, I'll be doing some trimming. We're on our last screw, and I've just taken the clamps off, and all these screws have been put in. And here is the last screw. And now we're going to do a little sanding. This is the top. So this is going to be the barn door on the top. Once I get all the tape and get it sanded, remember, it is a rustic looking door. You're not going to find the cedar to be super flat. So remember, this is rustic, and it's going to have some character, some cracks, and that's the way you want it to look. When it's all finished, it's going to look great. I've gone ahead and laid out now for my brackets. They're going to be here and here. And now I'm going to go drill our first hole. And it'll be easier for me to turn it around. And by the way, did I tell you it is heavy? All right, let's get that against that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and drill some holes. Line our drill bit up. I put an indentation before I started it. We'll do down here, if you can see. Move this camera down just a little bit. See if we got the right size. And we come over here. Okay, I've just laid out the boards to drill the holes, and I'm putting the final holes in here for these brackets. And one of the things I had to end up doing, I had to oblong the hole a little bit because my drill bit wasn't big enough. So just remember, always anticipate that. And that's something I didn't, therefore this must be metric. So anyway, let's go ahead and finish up the last holes and finish up this part. I want to thank you for watching my videos. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and have a wonderful and blessed day.